Alright guys, Kremp again today. Hope you're doing well and enjoying your day so far. Big update from OpTic FormaL as to what his future plans might potentially look to be, especially if there's a future away from competitive Call of Duty and competitive Halo esports. Maybe another esports is calling FormaL in a future direction. But also, what about the OpTic boys' thoughts on the new Gentlemates roster? Part of that former subliners team, they are not so convinced, especially Dashy, that trying to run back the 2023 World Champions with Lynz instead of HyDra is going to be anywhere near a good idea. Very much into your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. I greatly appreciate it. First of all, there was a rumor going around yesterday that XDefiant is going to shut down. So XDefiant was talked about in the community, in the competitive COD community for some time, because it was meant to be this, COD killer FPS game that took many of the good elements of some of the classic Call of Duty titles, mixed them together, and, seems like a reasonably fun game. When I played the beta briefly, had a pretty good time. For whatever reason, it's not really taken off as they might have hoped it would. And of course, timing-wise, with the new COD coming out and the beta in play, it's just not really delivered what they were looking for, I imagine. And rumour has it, they were going to shut down the game. Now, Mark Rubin, of course, who used to be involved in Infinity Ward, he then came out and said, to be crystal clear, there are no plans to shut down. I've literally been in meetings as of last week to discuss our second year plans. Right now, we're super focused on improving the technical experience, which includes the netcode. So I guess there's been some problems with the game, as there always is. But yes, he's talking about, we've done very little marketing, so yes, our numbers are down, but that's just to give the team the time to get the game in a better place before we do bigger spends on marketing to bring new players to the game and to bring back players that have left. So whether you believe Mark Rubin on this one, that XDefiant's going nowhere, I'm kind of inclined to, but I will say if XDefiant does end up shutting down or something, Aches is an absolute generational bag stealer, Alan. This guy's out of control. What he managed to do on the Los Angeles Grillers when he joined that roster going into the start of the CDL era, got paid a bag, got benched, still got the bag, and then just, basically did it for free. And then, of course, he's been working with the XDefiant project for a few years, probably making a bag for the privilege, and then maybe the game fails and, gets shut down or whatever, and X walks away with the money. So this guy, absolute legend, you gotta say. And, maybe the game will get better and it'll be relevant, because there was a world in which, retired CDL pros, washed-up CDL pros, go to the XDefiant Pro League. But that does not seem likely to be happening right now. This, I thought, was just an interesting response here from Drazah. We did see aBeZy make that tweet about he killed BO3. Drazah's like, you owe the whole community, what's going on? Where's the money, sunshine? Another interesting update though yesterday from the OpTic side. Gillian Pierce, so JP the creator, has been working with OpTic for a couple of years now, working on, the process and shows like that they've done to great effect over the last couple of seasons. And he says the following: after nearly 2 incredible years, I've made the tough decision to step away from my role at OpTic. From day one now, it's been an unforgettable journey. Words can't express how grateful I am for the green wall. And huge thanks to Hex and Roger for believing in me and trusting my vision every step of the way. So not exactly sure what his plan is next, but just some shots here from what's happened over the last couple of seasons, right? The championships that have been won, certainly the World Championship, and the videos that have been made as a result, documenting all of it. So I know that over the last few years, after Hitch kind of stopped making vision and then it became the process, and there's been various people managing those, videos and documentaries and the other content pieces that they've done. And they've had a couple of people do that job over the last couple of years to decent success, and JP's now going to step away. Another JP, of course, not JP Krez, who is one of the coaches of the team, and then there was JP Digits as well, another JP who I think was working with Legion maybe as their analyst guy last season, something like that anyway. But JP is going to be stepping on. FormaL's, that was a pleasure. I think even Dashy was in the replies saying, until next time. So Kenny was talking about it, JP Krez is talking about it. So giving him lots of kind of credit for his time on the roster and of the organization, really. So of course, wishing him the best in the next adventure. I guess the question has been, he's stepped away from OpTic. Is there more to it than that? Because of course, people are going to see this and say, oh, well, someone important leaving OpTic, it's got to be budget, it's got to be whatever. And I don't know the answers to those questions. I know that, I don't know, but you guys remember when Sender left OpTic, or the Huntsman, he went to go to the subliners. he kind of implied that they weren't going to be able to pay him as much as the subliners could type thing. And, look, we don't know what these organizations are looking like financially. Lots of these organizations are struggling. We know to put 2 and 2 together, certainly with the salaries that these players today demands. And after a couple of years, maybe Julian's got a better offer to go and do something else. But it does leave OpTic in an interesting position where they've got to figure out a replacement effectively to keep the content flowing. But let's talk about a couple of things. Firstly, FormaL. We know that he played with Luminosity Gaming. I just thought this is a funny story of when he, of course, left the OpTic dynasty, went over to LG. And it worked out okay at the end of World War II, and it actually worked out okay in Black Ops 4. They won CWL Fort Worth, famously, the Rampart event with Nick Classic. But still, FormaL did get the win. But I think this was maybe at the Vegas event at the start of the season when he went straight to the casino and played blackjack all night. But FormaL also talked about the possibility of competing in another game. We've talked about this yesterday with the Valorant stuff. Could Dashy go and do that? Obviously HyDra maybe had the talent to do so as well, possibly. Whalers back in the day has managed to actually do so. Even it doesn't really apply to Benji Fishy, but you know what I mean. Benji Fishy was a Fortnite kid, and now he's an absolute top-level Valorant pro. So it can be done. And obviously, most players, though, will stay to one input device. They're either a controller player or they're a mouse and keyboard player, and that tends to transfer better. And that would be the same for FormaL, you would imagine. So, there are so many possibilities for FormaL. We talked about it last night briefly, where he said that, look, he is not sure if he wants to come back to COD. He's not sure if he wants to stay in Halo. He's not sure if he wants to be on the watch party. He doesn't really know, but there are more options open to him than just that. And he also mentions that, well, what about Warzone? Is that a possibility? Because there's good money in Warzone. You can stream and play competitive Warzone at the same time. It's more chill because he likes the Halo grind because it's not as much of a grind. The teams practice once a day. They play one scrim set. And look, obviously it's a big deal. It's a very competitive game, but it's not taken to the same extremes that competitive Call of Duty is in some other esports. So if you're a Warzone pro, that would probably be fine. He's also thinking, could I play Apex? Maybe I could. Certainly, FormaL could go to Warzone and do a killer job. No doubt about that in my mind. But that's the question for FormaL, right? Does he want to get top 8? Is he trying to win? What's he actually trying to do? So he's still got some questions to answer in and of himself, but I'll share this, but I'll also share what Pred has to say on this new Gentle Mates team.
Yeah, that's a true story, Miles. Yeah, Black Ops 4 2019 was on LG. We lost to OpTic Saturday night in winners semis. Went to the blackjack table, played blackjack all night. And the next morning, my teammates saw me at 8 a.m. They were going to warm up the event. Saw me in my same jersey sitting at the blackjack table. And I tried to play it off like I just got up to. It's good, guys. A little breakfast and blackjack. No? And I played that event on no sleep. Just straight degen shit. And I actually fried. That's the sad part. I actually did fry that day.
Apex, or if you were to try Warzone, is it daunting to, has that ever crossed your mind to try something like that?
Yeah.
Or is that a little
it's crossed my mind.
Yeah.
Could I be a Warzone pro? Probably. Could I be an Apex pro? Maybe. Do I want to be? I don't know. Maybe not.
Yeah, it's like when you get there, what would that even look like?
What, exactly. Am I just sitting there just getting top 8? Am I hoping for top 8? I don't know what that looks like. So, especially the type of person I am, I want to fucking win whatever I'm playing. So it's tough to really just put my finger on something and say that's what I'm going to do next year, and I'm going to try to win here and whatever. I'm more of a go with the flow, but once I land on something, I become really passionate about it and try to do my best at it. So I don't know. We'll see.
Can we talk about that Gentlemates team? Are they just thinking yo, we could just fill in Paco with another French kid?
Yeah, they put.
We could just yo, we just need another French SMG kid.
A French guy that doesn't know.
That literally is what they did. That's actually hilarious.
They're like, wait, we found we found the formula.
Bro, that is so funny. Gentlemates is literally C9V2.
Yeah. And I feel like Ultra just
Gentlemates is literally MW2, bro. It's actually 2023 MW2. They even got a French kid for they're just trying to run back the magic.
That is actually comedy. I did not know that was a thing,
bro.
That's fun.
It's so annoying for Lynz.
They're gonna replace because they had Sender. They're gonna try to look for somebody like Bender. They're gonna try to look for they're gonna try to look for somebody
no, they're gonna get Sam Phoenix.
Yeah. They're gonna try to get somebody to match.
So Gentle Mates has a recording, not yet officially confirmed their team. They're not even officially confirmed, at least as a recording. They're in the CDL. It was rumored now for some time. Of course, they did have a team that represented them at the Esports World Cup. They bought out, of course, Bance and the boys that went to Riyadh, and then there was was interest relatively early on for them to get a hold of that Los Angeles Guerrillas spot, which we're now pretty sure has happened. Whether they're going to stay in LA, probably they will be forced to because of deadlines and stuff, I don't know, but they are forming a team. Cloud9 were going to get rid of Sib, keep around Kismet and Skyz. They then decided not to do that and to bring Sib back instead, which is probably the right call, which has left Kismet and Skyz to go and explore other options elsewhere. They are going to Gentlemate and they are running back the same team as before, with Kismet, Skyz, Priestahh, but instead of HyDra on the team, as Dashy implies, another young, cracked SMG French kid in of course, Lynz. And HyDra's like, and Keddy's, yeah, wow, cannot believe they actually thought this was the play. Do they think they found, you know, the unlosable formula or something where you simply put together the same 3 guys and another French guy and you're going to be winning the World Championship? Seems kind of unlikely. Now, let's not forget, when that team was formed going into the Modern Warfare 2 season of HyDra, Kiz, Skyz, and Priestahh, people had that roster top 6, top 7, top 8, something like that. They weren't massively highly rated. And neither are Gentlemates again now. You know, reasonably so, but not massively expected to be that good. And, you know, is it possible that lightning strikes twice? It's pretty unlikely. I think the debate for many is Lynz the player that HyDra is? No, certainly not yet. Unlikely to ever be, given how good HyDra is. Can Lynz get better? Sure. I like the idea on paper, not a problem with it. I think my question is whether bringing Priestahh back was the way to go, because Kismet, we know that he's done well with HyDra over the last few years. It's kind of unclear how good Kismet actually is. We don't often get to see it because HyDra takes the limelight. We're going to see this year whether HyDra and Envoy are as good, if not better, than HyDra and Kiz, and how good Kiz works with Lynz in that slightly different role. Skyz is a solid AR, one of the best you can find out there in the league, in my opinion. Slow, sure, but effective, there's no doubt. But alongside him, you do need a player who has, you know, good slaying potential, which is why Sib this season was brought in as an upgrade. I mean, look, they won the team with Priestahh, they won the World Championship with that team with Priestahh. They still decided to make the Sib move, and in hindsight, given the way the season went for Priestahh and for Sib respectively, you can argue it was a pretty good move. Yes, they didn't win champs again, but they won an event and they came second at champs. So you can argue that bringing Sib in for subliners last year was a good decision, and bringing Priestahh back in for Sib to that core when, you know, what's the chemistry going to look like? It does raise questions, because it was a talking point when OpTic went into MW2. They'd blown up the team in the off-season. They then ran it back. It was the general feeling that, well, if one thing goes wrong, those chemistry issues are going to go back to the surface. And look, Priestahh said after he was dropped from that team that he felt like he was stabbed in the back. I'm pretty sure he said that on stream. And now he's back with the same boys that did that to him. So, you know, if things start to go downhill, I can't imagine that core is going to stay together forever. And you can also argue that, are there better players out there than Priestahh that have proven their worth over the last season or so? Maybe so. I think that's kind of the debate for me, is that I'm not convinced, as Dashy is not convinced, that simply running back that trio with a new French kid is going to deliver the same success. It might be the case that running back 2 of that 3 trio and then bringing somebody else in instead with Lynz is maybe the way to try it. But yeah, intrigued to your perspective as ever on all this stuff in the comments section below. Just one final thing thought was kind of fascinating, right? We talk about duos in Call of Duty history. There is none more famous and more effective than T2P, right? Scump and FormaL. There are other great duos, Simp and aBeZy, Aches and TP, Zoom and Attach. But in terms of like overall impact, you know, nothing comes close to these guys. And this is Black Ops 3, because why not talk about Black Ops 3? Brian Stats puts together their KD is in the grand finals. This is against the best other players at the tournament. And these are their numbers. Scump 1.12, 1.14 at the Stage 1 playoffs. The Crown Invitational that they played Millennium there in the grand finals. They, Scump and FormaL both had a great time. ESWC was an absolute masterclass. They played, I think, they played FaZe in the 2017 grand finals there. They might have played Splice in the grand finals that time. Then it was Anaheim. But like, look at the consistency here of these guys, always in the 1.1s. I mean, sometimes in the 1.4s. Like, it's just pretty absurd. So very much interested in your thoughts as ever in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. Take care. And I'll see you next time.